Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Dave. Another day at the shop. Part 10,000. I just wanted to say what's up here at Refugios. Today we have a special guest. We actually have two special guests at the shop today. One coming later, all the way from Puerto Rico. The one we have now is Maria Martin, and she's via Miami. Maria Martin is a pioneer in the cigar industry, one of the few pioneers in the cigar industry that is female as well, but she's basically, her family has been in tobacco for generations, and I'm going to let her talk about that. And I'm excited to have her in the shop and ask her some questions and talk with her a little bit. So I'm going to check out for a second. I'm going to meet you in the shop. All right. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's me, Dave. I'm in the BK. More fam out here. Another day, another day at the shop. I just want to say what's up, and I have the pleasure of having Maria Martin today from Martin Cigars, and we're gonna talk with her a little bit, and pick her brain, ask her about cigars and tobacco, and what she's got going on. Maria, nice to have you in the shop today.
Thank you, David.
Welcome to Brooklyn.
Thank you. I love Brooklyn.
All right. So, Maria, just talk a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about your cigars.
Well, I was born into a cigar family, and I grew up with everyone smoking cigar, men and women in my house. And grandmother rolling cigars in the kitchen, and that kind of a household. Cigars were hanging up in the closets, tobacco. It was, not the normal person growing up. There was a lot of tobacco and a lot of conversations about tobacco.
And your dad actually is a pioneer in the tobacco industry.
Well, actually my dad got it from my great-grandfather and my grandfather and my mother's father also. So it comes from a long line of cigar persons.
So tobacco's been in your family for generations. But your dad was responsible for starting tropical.
Tropical tobacco, he was the blender for a lot of lines, not only his own. We had Bicentennial, Don Juan, Lempira, Cacique, Maya, Solo Roma, Indian Head, all those were his friends. Casanova.
Now, I read in the Cigar Press magazine that we just got, and it was a really cool interview, and it was really cool to see that you're definitely finally getting some light. I know that you worked with your dad for a while, and then you eventually went to work with Camacho.
Yes.
How long were you with Camacho?
8 years.
8 years.
As a national sales manager, and it was wonderful.
That's actually how I remember it. I used to work at Davidoff, and I was event coordinator in the shop, and I did the Camacho dinner for her.
And it was fabulous.
And it was really good because we had a fun time. And a couple years later, I found out that you started your own company. Now, what prompted you to do that?
Well, Davidoff is wonderful. I have no complaints, but I'm not quite structured. I kind of like the small, always like the feel of the boutique company, the freedom that a boutique company gives you. Let's say something doesn't work, well, you can change it. You don't like a picture, you don't have to get it approved, you can change it. Things are changeable and quicker, and you see results quicker, you see change quicker, and I like that. I like that, and I don't really care for the corporate structured life. And let me tell you, you work a lot harder when you don't have the structured culture.
But you give it a lot of freedom, too.
It gives you a lot of freedom. Let's say I start working at 7 a.m. on the computer, okay? And I will work till 10. At 10 I go do physical therapy for my shoulder, so I do that for an hour and a half. And then I get back to work and I finish at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. But I had the freedom to go for an hour and a half to do something that I have to do. Now when I worked for Camacho, my dad got ill at the end, and I was given that kind of freedom because I worked so much. So I was able to go home, be dad, spend some time with him, and then go back to the office, which was, I was very grateful for that, and for that and a lot of other things, I worked very, very hard. It was enough. It had that small family feel that they would understand things like that. And even though Davidoff is absolutely wonderful, it's still a corporate structure.
Yeah.
So they have to abide by different kind of rules and regulations that are not necessarily their own.
For those of you who don't know, Camacho is owned by Davidoff, and that's why she mentions Davidoff. So now the blends that you have now, tell us a little bit about the blends. Like, what are you smoking now?
I am smoking a Pedro Martin Maduro, Pedro Martin M for Maduro, M for Maria, M for Martin, M for whatever you want to call it. Pedro Martin Maduro is my pride and joy right now because this one and Fiera were the longest to make, to blend. They took like 10 trips to Nicaragua, endless days going back to the drawing board because I was used to blending with broadleaf, Connecticut broadleaf. It's a totally different animal to do a Connecticut broadleaf and do the Mexican Maduro. The Mexican Maduro will...
Is that the Mexican San Andreas?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It will actually tone down the cigar.
Yeah.
So the Royal is exactly the same blend, but in Ecuadorian Connecticut. So if you smoke a Royal and you smoke this one, you go, can't be the same blend. They are. But the Royal is full of spice. And this one is toned down the spice.
So what's the binder and filler on this?
The binder and filler are all Nicaraguan.
So that's a Nicaraguan puro?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, because it's got a Mexican
Mexican
wrapper.
wrapper. I'm sorry, right. So the binder and filler are Nicaraguan and the wrapper is Mexican San Andreas.
Right.
And what about the one I'm smoking is the Corojo?
The Corojo is 3 different regions of Nicaragua. Condega.
Esteli and Yelapa?
I'm not quite sure. I know it's Condega and Jalapa. I don't believe it has any STD whatsoever. But it's 3 different regions, 3 different parts of a Corojo plant, and we made that one into a very interesting story.
Interesting. So this cigar would be puro, Nicaraguan puro.
Yeah.
And this is one of your top sellers, isn't it?
Yes.
And so is
Pedro
the
Martin Corojo, the Pedro Martin Ruby, the Pedro Martin Maduro, and the Pedro Martin Fiero.
Okay, now
The 4 top sellers.
what's the Fiero about?
Oh my God, it's Criollo and Corojo together, and it's got a double binder, it's got a Maduro binder, it's got a natural binder.
So when you say double binder, like just for people who don't know, explain what that means. When you
Double
say it.
binder means instead of using one binder from one plant, you use 2, a natural and a Maduro. And so it gives it a lot of complexity, and as you smoke it, it goes turning, the cigar goes turning, and by the time you get to the middle of it, it's a lot fuller than when you started it, and it makes it for a very complex smoke, and it happens to be a very full smoke, and it's spicy.
It sounds like a...
Well, it is full in the sense that it's full in taste, and it's full in strength, but at the same time, the Fiera is smooth enough for you to really enjoy.